Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 67 of the Social Liability Podcast, a podcast where we discuss those folks in our lives that violate the social contracts that we all agree to live by. I'm your host, the Raspberries, with my co-host, the Buck Grundle, bringing you new and interesting stories from the far reaches of the internet. So essentially, we browse Reddit so you don't have to. I can't really think of any other way to put it.
No, that's about the long and short of it, Raz. I mean, we browse Reddit so you don't have to. I'm trying to find a way of putting a finer point on it, but I really can't.
No, because that's what you do. So, but we got some interesting stories this week, and we're gonna have a bunch of Florida ones right out the gate, Buck. And do you remember in past episodes we've talked about the villages? We remember the villages. Everyone remembers the villages. If you can't remember the commercials, like the villages, where they're trying to get the elderly to come live in these this retirement community that has its own zip code. It is that large. It's got its own post office, and they also have their own website for their own news. Buck. They have their own newspaper. So this is being reported by the villagesnews.com. And I love it. They don't refer to themselves as residents. They refer to themselves as villagers. A villager was arrested after she was spotted driving a golf cart at 25 miles per hour on the Florida Turnpike. Carolyn Lynn Crispino, 64, lives at, and they give the whole address, which we're not going to do, in a section of the Villages, was behind the wheel of a golf cart at 8:15 p.m. Saturday southbound on Florida's Turnpike near exit 304, according to the arrest report from the Florida Highway Patrol. A road ranger spotted the golf cart and began following behind it to keep it from being hit by traffic, the arrest report says. Crispino pulled into the Okahumpka, I'm sure it's an Indian name and I butchered it, but Service Plaza, where she was met by a trooper from the FHP who had been contacted by the road ranger. The trooper asked the New York native how she had strayed onto the turnpike, and she said she did not know. She did, however, admit that she had 3 drinks from dinner at the Brownwood Square in the Villages. Crispino performed poorly on a field sobriety exercise and provided breath samples that registered a 1.50 and a 1.57 blood alcohol content. She was arrested on charge of driving under the influence and booked into the Sumter County Detention Center, where she was released after posting a $500 bond. The golf cart was towed from the scene. So, wow. Not only did she manage to get herself a DUI on a golf cart, she was driving down the turnpike on a golf cart.
What? No, man. I mean, I'm telling you what. You know what? Old people in golf carts. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm surprised National Lampoons hasn't gotten a hold of this concept yet.
Well, here's the thing.
Wow.
A lot of towns that have a large retirement community amongst them, say, for example, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they have ordinances that allow for golf carts to be driven on the streets. Oklahoma, for example, just they don't. They're those big gator golf carts. They call them side-by-sides down here, and they just enacted a law down here that you can drive them on the roadways now as long as you're not on the state highways. You do have to have a driver's license, but the vehicles do not have to have any kind of inspection or anything like that. They do have a license plate you can put on them, but they. But in Myrtle Beach, I remember, for example, they have that frontage road system on all the main roads, and golf carts are zipping up and down them. Some of them are really souped up golf carts, but golf carts don't belong on the road, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that there are ordinances and things in place where golf cart may be a more conducive way of travel. And they allow and facilitate for those things to happen in certain places, and that's great. And that's not what I'm laughing at here. I'm just saying that the comedic value that you can really just build off of when you combine an old person and a golf cart. I mean, that's like cooking with a roux. Yeah, it's such a good base. It's like, yes. It's like it's the equivalent of flour and butter in the cooking world. You know what I mean? It's like with flour and butter, you can create so many delicious things. But with golf carts and old people, there's just so many avenues of humor that you can go down as well. And you know, it's just a lost opportunity here. I mean, this woman could have done so much more to make herself such a bigger star on our podcast. I mean, the exposure that we could have
Well, let me try.
missing out.
Let me try to do better and see if the Villages can redeem itself, because this was not on the docket. This is literally, I just saw this on the side of the webpage. Villager in golf cart arrested at Publix after crashing into two vehicles. This is the same edition of the paper. This is the same edition.
See, that smells funny to me, man. That smells like funny to me. I'm going to give the old lady on golf cart a 2, just because she could have hurt a lot of people. And I just want to rate her before we move on. Continue to old person in golf cart at Publix.
A villager was arrested at Publix after crashing his golf cart into two vehicles. Jake Wallace, 66, who lives at, again, they give the entire address, was seated in his golf cart at 8:45 p.m. Thursday when officers were called to the parking lot of the Publix grocery store in La Plaza Grande, according to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. Witnesses say Wallace had driven his golf cart into oncoming traffic, striking two vehicles. Wallace who was convicted of driving under the influence twice in 1990 and again in 2000, had slurred speech, and he was very unsteady on his feet. "I've been drinking, officer," he admitted. Wallace said that he had consumed 5 beers and 2 shots throughout the course of the day. He was arrested on felony charges of driving under the influence and booked into the Lake County Jail on $10,000 bond. Can I point something out?
Only if it's the fact that not only did they take his booze and his golf cart, they also took Mr. Wallace's freedom.
So, Mr. Wallace is arrested for DUI on a golf cart and got a $10,000 bond. The chick from New York that got a DUI on a golf cart in the same place got a $500 bond.
I'm telling you. The lady with the $500 bond was probably English. And then Mr. Wallace, being a Scot, got the $10,000 bond. That's what I'm saying. Was his first name William?
No, it was Jack.
Yeah. Was he William's brother?
You're an idiot.
William Wallace? No, I'm not an idiot. I'm hilarious. You just are daft.
That's a British slang term. Oh,
I hope you just I just hope you heard the toilet flush in the background. Because that would have just so timed.
Was that somebody flushing one of those yappy dogs?
I wish. No, man. I'm telling you. I'm just trying to play off the Wallace thing here, and you're not even letting me.
No.
And I'm not going to let you. No, I don't care.
That fruit is entirely too low hanging. Fuck you. You can't have it.
Nah, man. I took it, and I sniped it. And the harder you try to keep it from me, the funnier it becomes. So, what do you rate Mr. Wallace here?
He did do damage, but I have no sympathy in my life for people with DUIs. I just don't. Whether it's on a skateboard or a 747, I've got no sympathy for DUIs whatsoever. So I have a hard time giving him anything less than a 3.
I'll co-sign that. I'll give him a 3. He did do damage. He drove into the wrong lane of traffic. He could have created a lot of damage.
I'm gonna make tacos out of those freaking yappy chihuahuas. Now they're rattling chains over there. What's going on?
It appears that they are itching or scratching.
You need to bathe your dogs. So we're moving next to WFLA Florida, Channel 8 News. Florida woman tells officers she's COVID positive and intentionally coughs on them. First off, fuck her. Tampa, Florida, a woman is facing charges after she coughed on police officers while knowing she was COVID-19 positive. According to police, Catherine Norris, 33 of Cape Coral, said she threatened to stab her boyfriend with a kitchen knife while her 1-year-old child was in the house. Once officers arrived, Norris informed them she had tested positive for COVID-19 multiple times. After she was put in handcuffs, Norris began to wiggle her mask down and wouldn't stop coughing at the officers. When somebody tells you they're positive and then tries to intentionally cough in your direction, cough on you, and your seatbelting them into the car for their safety, it's pretty disheartening. Due to the Lee County jail policy, Norris was taken to the Cape Coral Hospital for a COVID test to receive medical clearance, where she refused to keep her mask on. Norris even fought with the other patients and nurses, all while waiting for the results that she did indeed have COVID-19. Norris is now facing charges of resisting arrest with violence. Fuck her. She needs to take her teeth into jail in a bag.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. There's just calling this woman white trash would be an insult to polystyrene. I know I've used that joke before, but it's not a joke this time. I mean that sincerely. It's just, what in the ever-loving hell is... Oh, my gosh. Coughing on you are knowingly and intentionally trying to spread the pandemic just to be a bitch. Like, that... I'm going to go ahead, before we comment any further on this woman, she gets a 5.
Indeed.
Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and take the elephant right out of the room here. No fucking suspense, no drum roll leading up to it. I'm just going to automatically pin the tail on this fucked up dreg of society of a donkey and label her as a 5. And we can go on forth to bravo to the police officer for not creating another headline for bashing this woman's head in. Because I'll tell you what, you know, it didn't happen to me. And I don't remember it happening to you, but it could have. But when we worked in the prison, you know, there were lots of threats made. Not a lot of actions to go along with those threats. But there were a lot of threats made for inmates to, like, throw cups of piss at us through their food wickets, or like spit in our faces. They're like, I'll spit on you. And it's like, I'll tell you what right now, you know, I didn't talk a big game in the cell block. It wasn't like that. But I'll tell you right now, you know, even sitting here in my wheelchair, you cough, spit, do something that comes out of your body and intentionally throw it onto mine, we have gone and escalated to step 9. And that's just it. Like, amazing restraint from this officer.
Indeed.
Because if I'm a good freaking dude in a lot of ways, man, but you cough on me after you admit that you are infected with the global pandemic that's killing people horribly, we're just going to go ahead and cough on you. Like, thank you. That you fucking asshole.
Yeah. So, like I said, she needed to take her teeth to the jail in a bag. And I'm not advocating police violence by any stretch of the imagination. Matter of fact, I think police should be held to a higher standard. But in that particular instance, I think I would not have seen it. Hate these assholes. Okay, so the next story we have is yet another one from Florida, Buck. It's always from Florida, but this is our first Florida man. So let's go ahead and do the obligatory, shall we?
Florida man, does whatever the fuck he can. Makes headlines every time. Florida's paradigm. Look out! Here comes Florida man.
Here comes a Florida man named Daniel Allen Plunkett. from Treasure Island and with little to no respect for the Italian-American cuisine, was arrested for throwing a slice of pizza at his roommate.
Wait. Daniel Allen Plunkett from Treasure Island.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to let everybody know that we've got what sounds like a legit fucking pirate here. If that's not a pirate name from Treasure fucking Island, I don't know what is. Go ahead into the harrowing tale of how he assaulted someone with a slice of pizza, though, Raz, please.
As this is being told by the Orlando Weekly. The incident occurred last Wednesday, June 3rd, so this is a little old, when a shirtless Plunkett got into a pizza-related argument with his roommate, Brenda something. Not even going to try it. We're just going to say Brenda. And hurled a slice in her direction. According to the Tampa Tribune, the slice was hot and landed on her left hand. It also got some sauce on her shoulder. Fortunately, Brenda was not injured. Plunkett claims Brenda also threw pizza, but ultimately the 50-year-old pizza tosser was arrested for simple battery and violating his felony probation for driving under the influence. It is worth noting that the official complaint did mention that Plunkett's shirtless body was covered in sauce. Okay, so I kind of have a problem here. In the report, if he's covered in sauce, Brenda threw some pizza at him. They had a pizza fight. And he went to jail because maybe because he just threw the first slice or because he was on probation. I don't know which it is. I don't care. I hate inequity in law. We have to separate these two people from this domestic, so somebody has to go to jail. Why not both?
You know what? Let this be a lesson to all of those out there who plan on doing food-related felonies. Never throw the first slice, but always make the first phone call.
Oh, God, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Ah, man, I know. But you know what? It wouldn't be the Social Liability Podcast without the original Social Liability Buck. So, seriously though, man, like, come on. Shirtless Plunkett on Treasure Island in a pizza battle royale ends up in jail.
So a good friend of the podcast, Sadar, who had a show on our channel for quite a while there for Just Pizza was the name of the show. I think she would be deeply offended, and she would want to see both of these individuals flogged publicly for wasting the culinary delight that is pizza. Just want to point that out.
No, man. Oh, I just can't get over it, dude. This is just such a perfect story. It really was. It was short, to the point, just enough action to make it like suspenseful to a comedic degree, while still featuring a good like cast of characters, a good scenery. I mean, like, everything about this, man. Even good food was in this story. You've got a pirate. He's on Treasure Island. He's swashbuckling with pizza. He's got sauce all over him. Ends up in the pokey. Man, I'm telling you what. Mr. Plunkett's not going to Davy Jones' locker. He's going to Peter Tork's fucking locker. I'll tell you what. He's going to be going to another monkey. Not Davy Jones. Not Mickey Doolin. Not even Mike Nesmith, man. He's going to Peter Tork's locker. That's what I'm talking about. Telling you.
I don't know any of the people he just mentioned. Okay.
The monkeys.
Okay.
They're monkeys. Davy Jones, he's a pirate reference, like Davy Jones' Locker.
I got that.
And then he was also the lead singer for the 60s pop group Beatles knockoff The Monkees. And Peter Tork, Mike Nesmith, and Mickey Doolin were his bandmates. Perhaps one of the other...
You just made a joke that maybe 3 people got.
Well, we have a podcast that only, that reaches all over the freaking world, man. Somebody else might get it, too. It's a comedy cornucopia, man. We're supposed to just be ourselves. Why are you naysaying? Why?
Nay. Nay, I say.
You thunder thieving asshole. Okay? Like, just let me, like, this is the second joke that you've tried to topple me off of, man. What are you doing? You normally augment my humor. And right now you're stifling it, man. I feel as if you and I are in, like, a comedically toxic relationship. And I do have to take this abuse from you because I don't know how to do any of the technical stuff to put this podcast on, and you're lucky for that.
And
but that's why we're such good friends.
And I have a mute button. So, now that that's taken care of, this next story... Actually, no, we still got to rate that one. Let me unmute him. Go ahead, let's rate the pizza thrower. Go on.
I'm going to give Pirate Pluckett here 2.
I'm not even going to go that high. I'm giving him a 1. I'm giving him a 1. It was mutual combat. And when nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt. It was fucking pizza.
I think that, no, he wanted a 2, man. You don't go around brandishing fucking Italian cuisine and end up in jail if you only want a rank of a 1.
Pizza's not Italian. Pizza's not Italian. No. It's not.
I don't care.
You just said it, though. You have to care some way. Pizza's not Italian.
Okay, so... You're going to go and, like, completely... Fine, pizza's not Italian.
Moving on. This story is coming out of Singapore. Posing as a Caucasian called Jake on the dating platform Tinder, a man duped multiple women into sending their nude pictures. Ong Chun Sing threatened to expose the images when they ignored him or rejected his request for sexual favors. Deputy Public Prosecutor Sean Wong Kun said that one of the victims succumbed to his threats and even thought they felt fearful, threatened, and harassed. Instead of alerting the police and stopping communication with Ong, the 25-year-old Singaporean pled guilty on Friday, September 10th, to 2 counts of criminal intimidation and harassment charges. These 3 charges involved 2 women. Wait a minute, what? Pled guilty to 2 counts of criminal intimidation and harassment. These 3 charges, okay, whatever, involve 2 women. 1 charge under the Films Act and 5 others, 3 for harassment and 2 for criminal intimidation, linked to the pair, and 2 other victims will be considered during sentencing. Sometime in 2018, Ong downloaded a photo of an unknown Caucasian and used it to create a profile on Tinder. He pretended to be a man called Jake and got to know a 30-year-old on the platform on December 20th that year. They exchanged contact numbers and started chatting over a messenger platform, WhatsApp. A week later, he sent her a message stating, "I wish I could see you in laces now." The DDP said that the victim expressed her discomfort with the accused request and told him she was worried that he was not who he represented himself to be. The accused then assured the victim that he'd be able to meet on December 29th, 2018. Ong later told her that he felt upset when he did not receive any photographs. She finally sent him some nude pictures after he urged her to do so. On December 29th, 2018, Ong told the woman that he would not be meeting her and admitted that he had lied about his identity. He also claimed that he had deleted the pictures when, in fact, he had not. Ong sent multiple WhatsApp messages 2 days later, but she did not reply to them. He threatened to post the pictures on pornographic websites and social media platforms. DDP Shen said Ong also inferred that the women stopped communication with him. Was infuriated, rather, when the women stopped communicating with him on January 1st. To punish her, he set up a fake profile on the dating app OkCupid, showing her real name, age, and mobile phone number without her knowledge or consent. The prosecutor added that Ong stated on the profile that he was looking for men and hookups. He further uploaded 2 nude photographs showing her breast and face. The woman started receiving messages from strangers asking for sex. With her friend's help, she found the fake profile and told OkCupid to remove it. The platform did so on January 7th. The woman alerted the police and officers decided to ambush Ong. She duped him into thinking she would have sex with him, and the pair met near a Middle Road hotel on February 8th. Police officers were in the vicinity and arrested Ong. The court heard that he also committed similar offenses against a 29-year-old woman who he met on Tinder on December 23rd. On Friday, defense lawyers told the court that his client had an adjustment disorder. The court called for the report to assess Ong's stability for the mandatory treatment order. Offenders given an MTO will undergo treatment for their mental conditions in lieu of jail time. The court also called for a report to assess if he is suitable for a day reporting order, or DRO. DROs are administered by the Singapore Prison Service. Offenders have to report to a day reporting center for monitoring and counseling and will need to undergo rehabilitation. Ong's case has been adjourned until next month. So he's just a dick. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's just a dick.
And a really stupid one, too. I mean, first off, the guy's a creep. And I really don't think that I should go into how I feel about his actions personally until we address the elephant in the room. You know, sending naked pictures and things like that, like, people do that, and that's okay if it's consensual. You know, bullying somebody, you know, trying to force your will on another person in order to get that kind of... Why would you even want that? Like, you know, like, I've received naked photographs from from my caregiver. You know, we have that kind of relationship, and I like that. You know, I look at those photographs and I'm like, ooh, because she wanted to send them to me. That's part of the thrill. You know, it's like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, you want the... It's like, oh, you wanted me to see you like this. Like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, it's an exchange of like so much more than just a photograph. It's like trust and intimacy and, you know, so many things on so many other levels. It could be so special and, you know, whatever. But in order to like con and coerce people into that, like that's a special kind of fucked up, man. I mean, like that's like, you know, a precursor to like a violent sex crime, in my opinion. I mean, somebody who gets their jollies off on doing that to somebody. And then, you know, so now we'll go into his actions here as I see them in the article displayed. So after he dupes these girls and threatens them and creates fake profiles and everything to bust the guy, they set up this elaborate sting where the victim of the crime and the person that he's threatening all of a sudden just decides to do a 180 flip and say, yes, I think we should have sex after you've intimidated me and posted all my personal and private details, harassed me in so many ways. Yes, we're going to do the deed. You've charmed me.
You've charmed me. You charmed me.
The courtship is over. We can seal the deal. Bada bing, bada boom. And the guy's like, achievement unlocked. Like, he's sitting there, like, resting in his bed of laurels, thinking he's got, like, a trophy earned. You know, he's got his naked pictures. And it actually, like, oh my gosh, my whole ruse came to fruition here. Not only did I completely violate everything about this girl's person and you know, do all sorts of everything that leads up to emotional bad touching, now she's gonna let me do the physical bad touching. Yes. And that's how they set up like, that's how this mastermind was caught. Congratulations, sir. You're a fucking you're a fucking asshole. Like, I'm glad that you were dumb enough to fall for this shit. I mean, like,
really,
that seriously belongs on like the world's dumbest. Like, I feel like we should have somehow reached out to Tanya Harding or Danny Bonaducci to come in and give us commentary along with this. Like, this is how this whole guy's, like, the long con comes to fruition. He's gonna get the girl. That's what he's been shooting for, and he's got it, and then goes to get the police. Never saw it coming. just a complete curveball. Just can't believe how betrayed he must have felt. What the?
I love it. I'm gonna demand you do this, and when you don't, I'm gonna make this profile, and I'm gonna dox you, and make your life hell. And then he doesn't think, well, okay, you got me. I guess I better have sex with you now. And he was like, hey, it worked. Yay me. Dumb.
Right.
Criminals are not the sort.
Ooh. Well, I mean, and then dipshit goes ahead, and where does he break these laws? What?
Singapore.
What? Yeah. Oh man. They'll lash you in the fucking street for throwing a cigarette butt on the ground or spitting on the sidewalk. I can't imagine what the punishment for this crime is. Oh man. So, personally, I'm gonna go ahead and chalk this guy up.
Gotta give a score.
I'm
You can do it, Bucky. I believe in you.
I want to see. I'm gonna have to give him a half. I'm gonna have to give him a half score.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give him a 3. I'm gonna give him a 3.5.
That's the first half score we've ever had on the Social Liability Podcast.
It's just, the guy, he did something so terrible, but he was so fucking bad at it. It's just like, it's just hard to give. Like, I gave the pirate guy a 2 because he
entertained you?
Earned it. Because he entertained me, but the fact that this guy's so stupid, I don't know if I should dock him half a point or if I'm just gonna leave him at a 4. That was a hard one, man. That was a hard one for me, man. No, fuck that, man. Your first answer is the one you stick with on a multiple choice test. That's what I'm going with here. 3.5, final answer. Thank you, Razzus Philbin.
Okay, well, with that being said, let's listen to this. So right about now, people are listening to our ad on about Anchor on our various platforms for the audio version of the podcast. Here on the video version of the podcast, you get to hear me ask you to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you can be notified anytime that we go live with the Social Liability Podcast, and you can listen to these two idiots talk about stupid things that don't matter, because it's better than listening to reality. Let's just be honest. Reality sucks right now. We try to give that escape. The Social Liability Podcast costs nothing. The only thing we ask you to pay is attention. With that said, we're going to go ahead and get right back into it with part 2 of the Social Liability Podcast, episode 67, Pizza Fights and Golf Carts. I'll be right back. All right, Buck, we're going to go into part 2 of this epic episode when we talk about a man who is said to have taken an ambulance to go to a different hospital for quicker service. This is being reported by KATC News, Channel 3. A Crowley man was arrested Wednesday after stealing an ambulance and leading officers on a pursuit which ended in Crawley. At 1:35 p.m., Dunson police were alerted by St. Laudry EMS that an ambulance had been stolen from the Lafayette General Hospital and that the stolen ambulance was tracking westbound on I-10 coming into Dunson. The ambulance was equipped with a GPS tracker. Dunson police intercepted the ambulance traveling westbound on I-10 and attempted to stop it, but the driver allegedly refused to stop, and a pursuit ensued for 10 miles to the East Crowley exit. Police say the ambulance then proceeded to LA Highway 1111 into the city of Crowley and pulled into the parking lot of a family physician's clinic. The driver of the ambulance then circled the driveway and struck a car occupied by an 88-year-old Crowley man. No injuries were reported in the crash. The driver, identified as Carrie Cromier, 36, of Crowley, allegedly jumped from the ambulance and ran into the clinic. Dunson police officer, assisted by Louisiana state troopers, from the Arcadia Parish Sheriff's deputies and Crowley police gave foot chase and Cormer was captured and taken into custody inside of the physician's office. Cormer was questioned about being in the St. Lauderdale EMS ambulance, allegedly stated that just before noon on this date, he was involved in a motor vehicle accident in the 3200 block of Ambassador Cafe Parkway in Lafayette, where he sustained injuries which caused him pain in his back and his side. Cormer then reported that he was transported by Arcadia Ambulance Service to Lafayette General Hospital, where he had been placed in the lobby in pain. After waiting to be seen, Cormier stated he decided to go to a different hospital for quicker service and walked out of the Lafayette General ER and found an ambulance parked there. Cormier took the ambulance and proceeded to UHC in Lafayette, where he was not immediately seen there either. Cormier then took the ambulance to go to his primary care physician in Crowley, and on his way he stated that police started chasing him. Dunson police have confirmed that Cormier was involved in the crash on this date and transported by Arcadia Ambulance to Lafayette General. Dunson police also confirmed that St. Lauderdale EMS had transported a patient to Lafayette General Hospital. The medics had entered the ER to deliver the patient, and upon exiting the ER noticed the ambulance was stolen. Management at the St. Lauderdale EMS activated the GPS tracker and notified local police of the ambulance's location. After his arrest, Cormier was transported back to Arcadia General Hospital in Crowley, where doctors confirmed that Cormier had a rib fracture. Cormier was treated and released for incarceration. Dunson police have booked Cormier with his possession of stolen property felony into the Arcadia Parish Jail. Lafayette police are investigating the actual theft of the ambulance from Lafayette General Hospital, and additional charges may be coming from the investigation. Goddamn, dude.
What now? Let me just kind of do a little mental math here. Just help me connect a few dots here, Raz.
Let's connect the dots.
So dude steals the ambulance from the hospital. Goes to another hospital. Doesn't get service. Leaves that hospital in the same stolen ambulance, and then proceeds to a third medical facility before he is caught.
Indeed, that is exactly what happened.
So this man is the this man is the worst vehicle. He's the worst vehicle thief, but has executed one of the best vehicle heists by accident.
So dude's in a car accident. They take him to the hospital. He thinks he's not being... He gets triaged to the ER because guess what, fucker? There's people out there that are worse off than you. A cracked rib. Yeah, it sucks, but it's not life-threatening. So you're a little pissy because you're not back there in a bed. So you go outside, look at an ambulance, because ambulance employees typically are, I'm just going to leave the ambulance running to keep the AC going. Jumps in the driver's seat and says, I'm just going to take the ambulance. And goes to the next hospital. Gets to the next hospital and, again, is not seen fast enough by his standards. So he says, I'm going to go to my PCP. Jumps back in the ambulance and takes off. The funny thing is, when it's a big complaint about EMS that, when they get somewhere, they kind of lollygag and they hang around and flirt with the nurses or whatever, and then eventually they'll go back in service and they'll cite that they had to restock or clean their rig or something of that nature. This dude stole the ambulance, went to another hospital, got frustrated there and left before these guys realized their ambulance was missing.
That's the thing that just kills me about this whole freaking comedy monkey go round, man. Like, how do these people explain the fact that their ambulance was because how long did it take for this man to, like, okay, so they get the guy there, and Okay, so I'm not going to presume that it was the same ambulance that brought him to the hospital, but, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whoever gets there, guy's been there, leaves, goes to another hospital. How could you not know that your ambulance was gone, like, in that span of time? Like, between him departing and getting to the next hospital, I can see them being like, oh yeah, busy filling out paperwork. Oh yeah, busy doing this, and then going back out to your rig. But no. We have had the this man has absconded with the ambulance. Is now en route to another facility, gets there, checks in, stays enough time to be frustrated, leaves again in the same stolen vehicle that has not yet been reported yet, and doesn't get caught until he is en route to his primary care physician, and whoever found him probably found him by fucking accident. I'll guarantee, no. Like, there may have been an APB out on an ambulance, but I'm certain that it wasn't like a sirens blaring kind of fucking search either. Okay? Like, whatever cop just happened to pull him over probably turned left instead of right to get to wherever he was going. It was just like, well, that kind of blows the lid off of that one. There's the fucking ambulance. It's like, yep, all right, guys, we got it. I'll see you at Chipotle in 10 minutes. It's like, what? And why did this go so long without being reported? Why did this go so long without being reported? How can these, whatever, they were probably really nice EMS employees too.
Well,
but
the thing is if
they really screwed the motherfucking pooch on this one.
When they get back in the ambulance and get back to their first due area, or they sometimes they go in service from the hospital, depending on how it's structured, they could instantly be put out on their call. So the longer they can wait at the hospital and blame not being able to go back in service on something at the hospital, the less they have to work. So that's not uncommon. And if you're in EMS field, you know it's true. Don't at me because you know it's true. I've done it.
Okay, see, I was not aware of this. So that time gap is actually explainable.
It's explainable. It's not acceptable, but it's explainable. But let's move on before we dig ourselves in.
Whoa,
we got to score. We got to score. I'm going to score him at least a 3 because that ambulance being out of service could have meant someone's life.
Yep. I'll go ahead and co-sign that 3. Yep. Okay, let's go ahead. Further down the rabbit hole we go, Raz. What do we got up next?
Well, we're going to thehill.com. That reports a New York City subway outage blamed on someone accidentally hitting power off button.
That must have been a great tech support phone call.
Should you turn it off and turn it back on?
Oh, we have to turn it back on.
Oh. Well, investigators looking into the New York City subway outage that lasted several hours discovered on Friday the incident was likely due to someone accidentally hitting the emergency power off button. In reports released by New York Governor Kathy Hochul? Let's go with that. Who commissioned a review of the August 29th disruption of operational control centers across the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Investigators found that there was a strong possibility the button was pressed by mistake due to the fact that the plastic guard created to prevent such situations was missing. The August outage reportedly affected over 80 trains spanning the subway system's numbered lines and L train. The New Yorkers deserved absolute confidence in fully functioning subway system, and it is our job to restore that confidence. Hochul said in a statement, according to the AP. The button was pressed during a brief power dip in which several pieces of New York City Transit Rail Control Center's mechanical equipment stopped working. Once the button was hit, it caused all electrical equipment to lose power. Officials told the news outlet that service was further delayed from being restored in a timely manner due to train passengers exiting onto the tracks instead of waiting for service to resume. They added that the loss of power was due to human error. Jeno Libere, I don't know, who is an MTA acting chair and chief executive officer, told the AP the agency is actively working to better manage and maintain the system that supports the control center. In other words, they put the little guard back on. That's all they did. They put the little plastic cover back on the button. Yep, we're actively pursuing remedies, but we put the guard back on.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I mean, again, I have a very short-sighted view of the world, but from my perspective, I mean, like, I see an emergency shutoff button being something absolutely imperative when you are dealing with a machine that could kill a whole fuck ton of people. So, you know, there really is no way to avoid that necessary piece of equipment, and I get that. And, you know, the fact that the guard was broken, that to me easily explains that people, there's 7.5 billion people on this fucking rock. Okay, we are spinning with a huge sector of people, and some people see a button and just have to fucking push it, and that's why we have guards on these buttons, because the people who invented them, they know, like, the inventor of the button created the button so that he could push it. like
that's why they're red.
Like, the whole purpose of a button is to be pushed. And there are certain people who just have a very... Hold on. There are certain people who just have a very difficult time separating that there are certain situations that, although a button is there, it should not be pushed. Like, yes, I understand that you feel that you have this compulsion that you must hit the button. But we can't rely on people to police themselves. So we had to create... Somebody just had to just remove human error from the equation by creating a very thin sheet of plastic that apparently, when it goes bad, can erupt into a whole amalgamation of shit.
Well, here's the whole thing. And they said this wouldn't have been as bad if dickheads would have just stayed in the goddamn train and waited for the power to come back on. Instead, they decided to push the doors open and go out onto the tracks, which caused even more delay. So I'm not giving somebody hit a button. It was an accident. It happened. Social liability score of 1. Assholes decide that we have to go out on the tracks and, because I'll be damned if I'm going to be inconvenienced. Fuck you. Thank you. Go to hell. You get a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know what? I mean, that's another thing, the human condition. That's why we have this podcast. Everybody who stepped off of the train, actually, like, if I had a t-shirt cannon, I'd start shooting social liability shirts at every single one of those fucking bastards. Okay? Yeah, I understand. But when you start, like, interrupting the flow of things, it begins to create a sense of urgency that does not need to exist. Okay? Whoever stepped off that train, I guarantee you, we'll say 100 people stepped off the train. Out of those 100 people, how many do you razz? Because me, I don't have a really good sector for this. I don't go out very much anymore. But out of 100 people that stepped onto those tracks, how many of them do you think would have been qualified to do fucking anything about anything that was going on in that situation at that current moment?
A none.
Right. So what you have now done is you have flooded a situation with 100 fucking people who know nothing. Okay? And what do we know about that much stupid concentrated into that small of a space? It's a recipe for fucking disaster. If you don't believe me, look up parking lot fails on YouTube. Because I'm telling you, that is a perfect example of a huge concentration of stupid in a small contained area, and nothing good happens from it. People stay in the fucking train. If there's an emergency and nothing's on fire and nobody's dying, nothing is exploding, stay the fuck put until somebody who knows something gives you directions. Every one of those assholes gets a fucking 4. Assholes.
Well, speaking of disasters, this one's being reported by Eyewitness ABC 7 News. Taco Bell wants you to send your used sauce packets so it can reuse them. I don't want anything used from Taco Bell. Anything.
I don't want anything not used from Taco Bell.
Well, Taco Bell has a plan in place to recycle some of the 8 billion pounds of used sauce packets that go into U.S. landfills every year. The fast food chain is rolling a nationwide pilot program for customers to send used sauce packets back through the mail. The program that was initially announced as a trial in April was created with recycling company TerraCycle to divert some of the many used sauce packets as possible away from landfills and reuse them. Here's how it works. Customers sign up for TerraCycle account, collect empty sauce packets in a recyclable container, print a free shipping label from TerraCycle's website, and ship the box via United States Postal Service. Taco Bell will display a QR codes and other signage in various parts of the restaurant to promote the program and encourage sign-ups. There ain't nobody signed up for that shit. Rather than dropping off the used packets at a restaurant, Taco Bell is using the mail because they don't want to be fucking bothered. Because a majority of transactions taking place at the drive-thru and are eaten out of restaurant. It also discovered that while the preferred way for customers during the pilot program in the mail helps them minimize their transportation footprint and ship their box of saved sauce packets all at once. A massive number of sauce packets are thrown out each year. Is it potentially environmentally damaging? About 710 million metric tons of plastic will pollute the environment by 2040 if actions aren't taken, according to a study published in Science. Taco Bell is one of the first food brands to use TerraCycle, a New Jersey-based company that helps big businesses become greener. It also worked with Procter & Gamble and Nestle to help manufacture reusable packaging in place of single-use packages that end up in landfills. The taco chain is hoping that by 2025, packaging used by its customers will be fully recyclable, compostable, and reusable across all of its 7,000 global locations. It said the program is the first step, but not the final step, in becoming a more sustainable brand. Last year, Taco Bell claimed it had ditched its popular Mexican pizza because of its packaging, which amounted to the use of more than 7 million pounds of paper board per year. So let's just call this what it is. Taco Bell has a marketing company that says that we're going to go green so we can get that marketing out of the way. And TerraCycle is a company that says, hey, we'll give you a reputable partnership if you give us money. Because there ain't nobody. I'm sorry. You find me the fucking psychopath who is saving their goddamn condiment packets until they have enough to put them in a box and ship them to New Jersey.
All right. So, I want the following information. I want the name of the person who convinced Taco Bell to launch this. And then I want the name of that man's drug dealer. Because I'm telling you what, whatever that man is taking, I want it. I want it. You've taken a capitalist pig like Taco Bell and convinced them that this money-sucking, siphoning pig of an idea was good enough to launch it off the ground, and you actually got this launched to the point where, like, it got past focus groups. What stimulant?
This is one of those things where a focus group, actually, or anybody for that matter, they can't say no because then they feel like an asshole. But they're not going to do it. Not a goddamn,
Exactly.
There ain't a goddamn soul alive that's going to do this shit.
That's what I'm saying, man. I changed the information request from the man's drug dealer to the name of the demon who wrote the contract, because this was only invoked through unholy powers because nobody in their right mind would buy into that. It's just, what? Oh my gosh!
So this is the demographic you're looking for. You're looking for a person who is vehemently pro-environment, and I'm using that term loosely. Let's just call them what they are, a fucking patchouli hippie, who says, I have to recycle everything, I have to reduce my carbon footprint, and I have to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Admirable. I'm not faulting you for that. But chances are that a person that is that vehement that they're going to save a small packet, and they're going to save enough of them to fill a box. Do you really think that person is eating at Taco Bell? Or do you think more likely they're eating at a vegan or vegetarian option? Or do you think the person eating at Taco Bell that has enough of those packets laying around is going to fall into the demographic of hippie? No, I'm sorry, you are not.
You know what? I'll bet you the boxes that they use aren't made from recycled cardboard either. It probably creates more waste to send the fucking box than it does to just throw the damn packets away.
Let's just call this what it is. It's a marketing thing. We're talking about it.
Oh my gosh!
We're talking about Taco Bell right now, and I'll be honest. I want Taco Bell now. I want to stay as far away from fucking Taco Bell as I can. It's never sat well with me. I want a chalupa. There's nobody to give a score to in this scenario. I'm sorry, there's not. Everyone did their job.
You know what?
Everyone did their job.
No. You know what? I'm gonna. You know what? There really isn't. I was gonna try to find a way, but no. This is just fucking funny.
It is.
I mean, this is capitalism right here. Because even the stupidest idea gets you publicity.
Well, let's next go to the Miami New Times as a Florida man attacks mom's boyfriend with samurai sword over can of missing shrimp. Yeah.
Of all the situations, of all.
The thing I'm most shocked about this story is that canned shrimp exists. This is Florida.
I'm telling dude, I own a samurai sword, and I can tell you what. I don't think a can of shrimp would get me to yank it out, but I can't wait to see how this goes.
We expect people to do all sorts of things with weird knives, but we also expect people to at least eat fresh shrimp. Jason Loftman, a 34-year-old from Volusia County, was arrested Saturday on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after getting into a domestic disturbance over a can of shrimp. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Loftman's mother's boyfriend, Michael Earhart, who is 52, accused Loftman of stealing a can of shrimp. Loftman apparently would not stand for having his honor besmirched over a canned shrimp, so an argument soon escalated into threats of a physical fight. Loftman and Earhart decided to take it outside, where Loftman threatened his not-quite stepdaddy with a statue. Though the two managed to cool off for the moment, Earhart returned inside to his mother's bedroom. Loftman decided he was going to get the last laugh, man. He grabbed a samurai sword and used it to break the bedroom door. He once again threatened Earhart, this time with the sword, but his mother and Earhart managed to cool him down.
Pause.
Okay.
Did this take place in a trailer?
It doesn't say.
Okay. Continue. I just wanted to know for context.
Loftman retreated once again, this time to the kitchen, but grabbed some knives out of the drawer. He returned to the bedroom and started throwing them at Earhart. Earhart managed to escape by a sliding glass door into the bedroom. That was in the bedroom. When police came, Loftman claimed he couldn't remember anything because he, quote, went into code red and lost his temper. End quote. He also started complaining of chest pains and was taken to the hospital.
Okay, folks. Let me just tell you what we've got here on episode 67 of the Social Liability Podcast. We've got a knife thrower. We've got a trailer park samurai. And we have a bona fide fucking pirate from Treasure Island, Florida. And it's all happening right here, folks. That's all there is to it. Seriously, we've got a guy with a samurai sword engaging in a knife fight in what I am only going to assert is a trailer. For there is no actual confirmation, but for comedic value, all I can see is a guy bursting through a door in a trailer with a fucking samurai sword, and then somebody retreating to the kitchen to grab more knives to fucking throw at him. This had to have happened in a fucking trailer, man. It can't have happened anywhere else. It just can't. I don't care where in the world it happened. It could have been a trailer park in the fucking Sahara, but this had to have happened in a trailer park. A fucking legit samurai sword and a dude throwing knives across the fucking trailer at him.
Whoa. I'm sorry. There ain't nobody in a trailer anywhere in Florida that owns a legitimate samurai sword. Let's just get that out of the way. But
man,
I think the author of the article points. I think the author of the article points out something very, very astute right at the beginning. Who the hell cans shrimp?
We have completely blown by this issue. You are absolutely right. That screams botulism.
You live in Florida. You live in Florida. There's fresh shrimp everywhere. And you're getting canned shrimp? And you're fighting over a stolen can of canned shrimp?
That's what I'm saying, man. Dude, it must have been like shrimp from like the most exotic shrimp farm in the planet, dude. Bust out a samurai sword over a can of shrimp. Like, wow. Dude, seriously, man. Raz, this is a good week. It's a good week for liabilities, man. We got a samurai fighting a knife fighter, dude. It's like Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Actually, I think
meets 47 Ronin.
I think the samurai and the guy throwing the knives are the same person. Yeah. After they talked him down, got the sword away, he went and got more knives to throw. Yeah. So anyway.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Story's still funny.
It's still funny.
Story's still funny.
Still funny.
It's just we just go down a different comedic vein. I'm gonna give this guy a 2.
You know, he did threaten somebody with a weapon. He could have hurt somebody. I'm stuck between a 2 and a 3, but we'll go with your 2 for now. But that being said, folks, that brings us to a close of another edition of the Social Liability Podcast. I have been your host, the Raspberries, with my co-host, the Buck Grundle, and we hope that you'll join us each and every week, at least for the foreseeable future, because we've gone 67 weeks now, Buck. So we know we're going to make 68. So check us out on just about any platform you listen to a podcast, you can find us. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Social Liability Podcast or for the Mount Moon Crew, and I'm sure you'll find us. Again, I am the Raspberries with my co-host, the Buck Grundle. Have a week.